When thinking about leadership, there is an infinite amount of traits that exist that probably you've read about, you've seen videos about. We're not going to waste our time with that. When it comes down to leadership, you can work hard at these traits. And there's a possibility that you may not be able to perfect all of them. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to be thinking about, is not trying to be the perfect leader. In fact, it's about embracing the imperfection of leadership and embracing the imperfection inside of you. That is going to be the best trait that you have. When you're able to really show the flaws in yourself, talk about the mistakes that you've made, talk about the hard decisions that maybe didn't pan out, that not only helps you grow, but it helps the people around you grow. And that's the type of thing that most people need to learn. Ultimately, when it comes down to leadership, you want to be able to make connections. And it's easier to make those connections when you're showing people around you that you aren't the perfect person. And in fact, you want them to be able to showcase their imperfections so that they feel at ease. When building relationships, it's important to be able to showcase these imperfections. These are the things that are going to make you more relatable to the people around you. And that in itself is going to build stronger relationships. In my current role, I lead a group of extremely smart technical people. This particular area, I'm not as strong in. I consider myself pretty smart when it comes to technology, but in this situation, these people run circles around me, and I love it. I think it is probably one of the biggest things that makes me a strong leader in this environment because I don't fully understand all the technical pieces of it. In fact, I was actually talking to one of my employees the other day, and he was telling me how in his previous role, his manager really understood the technical side of things and would try to correct him time and time again, only to find that the things that they were correcting him on were wrong. But he was never able to accept that. And he didn't like that. But he didn't feel comfortable telling his boss that. And I think that is an important thing to be thinking about. Why wouldn't you feel comfortable telling somebody that? Well, are they making it a safe environment? If they're not, then it does make it hard for people to be corrected. And I want everybody that I lead to understand that I don't have all the answers. And if you know a better way of doing it, it is your duty to be able to share that with me because I may not have all the answers. And I'm proud to say that I don't have all the answers. In fact, when I typically make a decision, I tell my people, I'm making this decision based off of the information that I currently have. And if there's better information out there and you don't share it, then there's a possibility that the decision that I'm about to make could be the wrong one. And I want everyone to be able to share the ownership of that decision. And so I want them to be a part of that as much as possible. And so this allows them to come to me very openly, very honestly, tell me they don't like something. One of the things I always tell my people is, if you don't like something, what I want you to try to do, you don't always have to do this, but I want you to try to do is think about what solution you'd like to put forth. Don't just tell me you don't like something. Tell me you don't like something and what you'd like to be able to change about it. That at least gets them thinking into that repair type of mentality, what we can do differently. I don't want somebody just to say, I don't like something, and that's just the end of it. What would you like to see come through with it? That at least gives us a little bit better of a position to go to the next step. Remember, embracing your own imperfections is not a negative quality, and I never want anyone to ever think that. So when you're thinking about your own growth, embrace those imperfections, as they will make you a stronger leader and they will make you more relatable to the people around you, which will in turn bring you strong teams. Strong teams can achieve more goals than anything else. And that is what being a great leader is to be able to build the strongest teams possible. Another thing I think about when I think about leadership is someone that is a hard leader. And I think sometimes people mistake the word hard for strong. And when I say a hard leader, I tend to think of leaders that are very, very firm in the way that they lead things. And I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I tend to think that there is this view out there that in order for you to continue to rise in the ranks of leadership, that you have to let these other traits go. And when I think about the traits that are really important are things like empathy and patience and humility. I think those are very, very important traits. And I don't know if there's this vision out there that if you possess these, that you're somehow not able to make tough decisions. We live in this instant gratification society right now where you can get everything at the drop of a hat. You can watch a movie at the click of a button. You could order something and have it delivered to you tomorrow. But when you think about results may not be that instant gratification type of thing. It doesn't always work that way. And in fact, when I'm thinking about sustained results may be something that takes months to fix. In fact, there isn't always a timeline in which those things may be fixed. You have to be able to look at the situation at hand and take the proper steps in order to make the changes that will fix an issue. And when you're working with people that may be struggling in their job, they're already on edge, right? They're not sure what's going to happen to them if they keep that same path. By having patience with them, you're going to ease them. They need to be able to calm themselves in order to think clearly, make the right decisions. As long as you're taking the steps to work with them, to consistently give them advice, give them direction, allow them to come up with their own solutions as well, you are working in the right direction. Remember, these traits don't make you a weaker leader. They make you a stronger leader. Strength is not power. Strength is about the people around you. Do you have the support? Are you supporting them enough? Continue to think about these things when you're making these decisions. It is not about showing that tough exterior all the time. You want to have confidence. Don't get me wrong. Confidence is absolutely key. You can still show confidence all the while being empathetic with your people. It is going to make you a better leader in the end. The next thing I like to talk about is probably some traits that could get you fired. There's a possibility. Probably not if you do it right. And those are some of the things that I really try to do on a day-to-day basis. I don't try to get fired on a daily basis. I like to challenge the status quo. Now, what does it mean to challenge the status quo? That doesn't always mean to argue. I think a lot of times when people think about challenging the status quo, they're thinking this person is going to argue till they're blue in the face. Yes, sometimes arguments may come through, but what I try to look at in these types of situations is doing it in such a professional manner that it doesn't really seem like an argument. It's more so being able to add a different perspective to things. There's a lot of times in meetings I'm in where I'm usually the last person to speak. I try to do this for a couple different reasons. I like to listen to all the ideas that exist. Typically, I've already formulated my thought or my viewpoint. But that doesn't mean that that can't change. And so I want to be able to gather as much information. I talked about earlier, right? I'm making decisions based on the information that I currently have. Well, when we're thinking about changing something or coming up with a new plan, I don't have all of that information. I don't know what everybody in the room is thinking. What I want to do is I want to gather that information. And so I will typically stop talking and just listen. Now, it is tough sometimes because when people say things that maybe I don't agree with, I might want to jump in and say something. And so it can be tough to kind of hold yourself back. But I found such great success. And not only that, but it has changed my thought process along the way where maybe I was thinking in a specific way, but based off of what somebody said, now I'm kind of tweaked that a little bit. Now, it's not to say that I've changed 180 and I've gone a different direction, but it has added value in the decisions that I'm making. So after everyone's spoken, I will add my own thoughts into this. And a lot of times, those thoughts are against the grain a little bit. They aren't always aligned with what everybody else is thinking. It may come across as I'm just not being agreeable. But what I'd like to be able to do in these situations is offer that different perspective. I think people tend to think that there's a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things. And although there are some situations where that might occur, when we're thinking about creating a plan or coming up with a decision, it's not one of those either or type of situations. And for that reason, I think it's important to have somebody on that side that maybe offers an adverse way of thinking. I think by doing so, not only are they taking their own perspectives into account, but they're taking into account somebody else's different perspective that goes against what they're saying. And I think, or at least I hope, that people are taking that information to at least challenge their own thought process. Have I really given this everything I have? Or maybe should I think about things a little bit differently? People have said to me all the time, pick your battles. You know what? I don't think it's a pick a battle type of situation. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm giving you an idea and you just have to go along with it just because you've used up all your tokens for this week. Well, you've argued 5 times, you only get 5 times and you can't do it anymore. It's not like that. I offer a position or I offer a perspective because I want people to have all of that information. I don't think because you're on the opposite side of things that you're picking a battle or you're fighting it out. It's not that at all. In fact, I welcome all those conversations. If I'm coming up with an idea or if I'm presenting a plan and somebody gives me an opposite position, I don't automatically look at them and be like, oh, this is just them picking a battle again. No, I welcome that. Like, challenge me. Please challenge me. Because if I can't fight that, or if I can't prove in a different way, then maybe I haven't made the right decision. And so it's important for me to take that into account. If you're out there trying to sell your position and somebody is offering a better way of doing things that you can't refute, then you should start thinking, maybe I need to make some changes. And again, by doing those changes, you are able to build and bring a stronger plan together. And that ultimately should be the goal, right? It's not getting your plan through, it's getting the best plan through. These situations are going to be bold risks sometimes. So don't be afraid to challenge things. Although sometimes it might be looked on negatively, as long as you're coming at it from a place of support, then there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. So keep pushing that. Thanks for watching. I hope you're able to do a little bit of self-reflection and think about the traits that you're currently exhibiting in your own leadership role. Are there areas that you can maybe change up? Maybe things you can do a little bit differently. Maybe you can spend a little bit more time working on those and see what types of outcomes you're able to glean from it. I think it can help you out. If you're liking the content, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out a lot. And remember, elevating yourself to new heights starts with just a single step. Make sure you're taking that step this week. Have a good day.